Today we're going to look at how to make a basic house in SketchUp and the tools that I use to do this. So in front of me here is the model that I built a few minutes ago using SketchUp. As you can tell, it's relatively simple. For this video I decided to make a relatively simple house, mainly using squares and other straight edges. I used a few basic tools. Some of the more important ones are the push-pull tool, the selector tool, the fill tool, and some component tools, which I'll go over later. This is a 30 by 40 by 50 foot house, which is super simple, and I decided it would just be very easy. How large it was would be easy to show all of the different things that I did. So quickly we're going to go through all of the tools that I used to create this model. So I'm going to go and open up a new model here to show all of the different tools. Yes. So in front of us we have this red box that I've already created. Usually when you open up a new model, there's a person sitting over here at the corner of all these axes. He's there to mainly to give some perspective on how large the object really is, and kind of the direction of which it's placed. So first we're going to look over the selector tool. So the selector tool is used to select different planes and faces so that they can easily be identified to be deleted or filled or any other thing really. So first, as you can tell, I'll click off. So you see no texture or anything to this plane. When I click on it using the selector tool, you can see little dots inside of that. That shows that that plane has been selected. Similarly, when I click this line over here, it turns blue to very clearly show that it's been selected. My favorite use of the selector tool, and the one I used most on my model, was to click a plane and hit the delete key to create an open space inside of my model. Next, we're going to look at the eraser tool. This is used to quickly kind of erase lines or faces on an object. So as you can see, when I click and pull over an object, it deletes the line and the face that it is scrolled over. I'll show you that one more time. Just like that. I didn't use the eraser tool much, but it is sometimes more convenient when deleting things. Next, we're going to look at the paint tool. So with the paint tool, I can come over here and select a color or material as I used on my model and quickly select a face, and it fills the entirety of the area. Just like that. It's used to very easily give some texture and just give a little bit more aesthetic appeal to the model that you're building. Next, we're going to look at the line tool. This is the most important tool because it's used to quickly make complex shapes. You can also use the rectangle tool, but I prefer the line tool due to its simplicity. So as you can see, while I was talking, I created this quick box. This box is created very simply by just clicking on a point with the line tool and pulling out. As you can see, when I pull out and it's red, it shows that my line is going to be horizontal on that face. Similarly, when it's green, it means it's going to be horizontal the other way or on the x-axis. And when it's blue, let's see if I can find blue here, that shows that it is vertical, showing that the line is going up in the air. It's very important when using the line tool that you are aware of which axis you are drawing on. So those were the main tools that I used when building my model. So quickly I'm going to delete this and start working on the model I showed you a minute ago. Just kind of showing you exactly how I went about it. So I'm going to start off with the line tool, and I'm going to draw a line that is 35 feet. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, there's a length. And when I hit backspace there, the length deletes. So to input a length, you just click on a point and pull out with the line tool and input numbers. So for instance, I want 35 and then the symbol for feet and hit enter. That just quickly creates a line that's 35 feet. Next, I'm going to select the red axis and type 40 feet. And then complete my base. So now I have a very quick base for my model. And as I said a few minutes ago, I want my model to be 50 feet tall. You just do the exact same thing with the push-pull tool for length to very quickly input the exact amount of feet that you want. When working with SketchUp, as I've learned, it's very important to save frequently. That way none of your work goes away before you're ready. Also, it's important to notice, as I'll show you here, that when making a model, you're probably going to want to extrude your walls so that you're not left with these very skinny planes for walls. So I'm going to quickly extrude each wall by about 9 inches, give or take. I'm not going to make it exact for the sake of time. Also, when you're maneuvering around your object, it's important to know that using the scroll button on your mouse and clicking it down is the easiest way to maneuver side to side, and coming down here and selecting the grab tool is the easiest way to move your object up and down. Let's go ahead and extrude this out. I'm going to move that back. There we go. So I gave my walls just a little bit of thickness for the benefit of showing or giving more depth to what I'm doing. I'm going to quickly save. So now we're going to go about making a door in this building. I personally like drawing to the midpoint because I feel like most doors should be centered on a building, and the average door is about 3 foot in width. So I usually make each side about 1.5 feet from the midpoint. And then I just pull up to create that line there, as you can see. Pull over, pull up and over, and now I have a face to make a door. And then I just extrude it back. Or not extrude it back. Then I click on it and delete that face to create an opening in my wall. Next, I'm going to make a few windows. I found that the easiest way with windows is to pull a line from the midpoint and kind of make some guidelines so that you can pull at the exact same spaces and make sure your windows are aligned perfectly with each other. So I'm going to quickly make a grid here, and using the same tool, pull out the same on either side and pull down to create some basic windows. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the door and delete the face to input a window there. So that's just a very quick way to make a window. Very simple. There's some more in-depth ways to do it, but for the sake of my model and for the sake of the time of this video, that's all I needed to do. So next we're going to look at how I put materials on here. So when looking at my building, I came over here and I decided that I wanted a brick building. So when you go over on the right side of your screen, there are a few tools over here as well. The one that we're going to use for this is the Materials tab. This gives some different materials like asphalt and concrete, brick and cladding and siding that can be used to texture your building. So for instance, I want this building to be brick. So I quickly click all around the building to make each side look uniform. Next, we're going to work on the roof. So the roof is really simple. All you do is you take the line tool and you draw up on the vertical axis. And you draw a quick line over here. I found that to be the easiest way versus trying to kind of finagle your line in there. And then to make a basic triangle roof, I pulled from the end point to the midpoint to kind of create that level triangle. And then I delete, using the selector tool, I delete the lines and I move myself to the back of the object and extrude this to the back. The trick here is to make sure you get it exactly to the back of the object, so there's very little overhang, if not no overhang. And then to finish off the front, you simply take the line tool and go along the bottom like that. Next, we're going to give the roof a little bit of texture, and I'm going to go through my materials and go to the search again and come down to metal, which has already been opened, and give it a little bit of texture on the top. So now we have the basis of the outside of the house. Next, I'm going to quickly show you the easiest way to build in the interior walls. So looking at this back wall, I can select this whole plane using the selector tool and hit delete. This opens up the whole back of the building, and that wall will be very easy to build back later. So using this line tool, I'm going to pull from this spot here and pull back and go out about, and pull out about 8 inches. Let's go back one more time. I'll pull out from here to make it easier. And so by doing that, I can create a little wall that comes out to here. And when I finish that off from the inside, I can extrude it up just like that. And it's the same thing with all the other walls, that you can just pull it straight up and set a distance. So over here I want it to be about 12. So that's the simplicity of adding in an interior wall. And then you can quickly take the rectangle tool, if I can get it here, or the line tool, whichever works, and make a quick rectangle here for the base floor. It seems to keep wanting to create that for me. So now, as you can see, we have a floor here. For the sake of time, we're only going to go through building one floor, but it's pretty much the same process for each of them. Next, I'm going to input a component. A component is a really nice aspect of SketchUp, because you can just come over here to the right and input a word like couch, and it will quickly pop up a picture of a couch that you can then put on your building. Ooh, let's get this couch. So then you can pull it here and simply import it in. Sometimes these things are a little bit difficult and won't want to go exactly into your building, so you'll have to move them around. So right now this one isn't really wanting to cooperate with me, so you'll have to move it. It would be easier if I could move it up and down there. And so after this, it's as simple as coming back and redrawing in this back point here to create that wall, and then going back to the fill tool, selecting brick and filling it back in. And there you have it. Oop, let's delete this extra couch. And there is the model of, or here's the exact replica of how I built my model.